Hello, I'm Madeleine from Sheen Slings, and this is my review of the Didymos Didyklick carrier. Now, I actually reviewed this carrier on my blog when it first came out about 8 years ago, but Didymos have actually updated it a bit since then, and they never made a video, so I thought it was time for me to revisit this and take you through it in person. So we're going to start by opening it up, and you can see it folds down into quite a nice, neat little package. And then as we undo it, we have the buckled waistband and tie-on straps that we'd expect from half buckle. And then we start with the waistband and work our way up the carrier. The main thing that has changed versus when I reviewed this 8 years ago is they've slightly changed the shaping of the waistband. It used to be dead straight, and now there is an ever so slight curve to it. But it's actually still similarly padded. We've got reasonably firm but not overly bulky padding. It's not overly wide compared to some. Even at the wider point, it's wide but not too wide, and they've made it wider here to give you a bit more stability right under baby, but then it doesn't feel so bulky over as it comes around your body. And then if I do this up, we can see we've got lots of space here to be very different shapes and sizes. And I should also say, so this is the Didyklick for you waistbands. That was the update. You can still get the older waistband. I think you have to ask Didymos directly, and they can make it for you on demand, or they have some on their website. So if you really were a fan of the completely dead straight waistband, you can get that too. And the other thing I should say about this waistband is, I should say about the bottom of this carrier is it is also completely adjustable for baby's size. So you can see if we come in here, I can adjust the velcros like so to make it narrower for a very small baby, and then I can like let it grow with my baby bit by bit by bit by bit to match them exactly, which is really useful. The other thing to say about this waistband is I can actually remove it completely and turn this into a non-behemoth carrier, or I can sort of use these velcros to move the panels around, and I've even seen twin parents put 2 panels onto a single waistband. So there's a lot of flexibility, making this carrier really useful and easy to use in like non-standard ways, as well as working really well in all the standard ways. So I have adjusted that for my baby, and then as we travel up the panel, you'll see we have these little toggles, and they're easy to adjust. Now this allows the panels to get even more shaped and even smaller for a really tiny baby. So if I have a really small baby, I can cinch these down, and that will make it narrower here, and also make a pouch that then shortens the panel to let a little baby sit in. I'm not going to be using a little baby right now, so I'm going to let that out, but I think that's a lovely option, and it means that this carrier genuinely will fit quite well from brand new newborn, and then will continue growing up. And yeah, if it does feel too wide here, we can still use these toggles to any amount of degree we want. It is worth saying this carrier, the manufacturers don't support outwards facing with this carrier, but these toggles are in a similar place to where I would put toggles for outwards facing. So I think if you wanted to try it, you could, although it is worth saying the manufacturer doesn't support that as an option. So I am now ready to go get a baby, and then I will talk you up the rest. Let me grab one from over here. I'm going to pop my baby on my chest, get this up over their back, and then sit in, and then I'm going to start to put the straps over my shoulder. So, talking about the straps, the Didymos is absolutely wonderful woven wrap fabric. They're beautifully wide. They are gathered here so that we can really get this nice and spread across your shoulders. And this is what I really absolutely love about this carrier, is you can get a really wonderful fit for you and baby, because we've got that absolute ability to control where the fabric goes, how it spreads, where it sits, and get it really nice and snug across baby and across my back. So you can see just how well I can fit this. I've spread it all out, but you can have this bunched too. And then we've got absolute freedom in terms of where to tie this. We can go under the legs, we can go over the legs, we can tie here, I can not tie and go back around my back and tie as many times as I want. I've got a huge amount of length, again, so I can be any size I want to be, but if I do find that too much to have tied in front, I can easily come round and tie it behind me. And some people even might get round to the front again. And then we have this multifunctional head support, which I can let down like this. And it is worth saying there's also some toggles in here, which will turn this hood into a neck pillow. And then you can attach them with the toggles, which I think is really nice. I often show people to roll up the hood, but instead this carrier actually will do it for you without you having to do anything. And then we can let that out, and we've got this where we can attach one side. We can also toggle this so it's easy to put up when our baby is on the back. So yeah, all in all, really adjustable, really comfortable half buckle. That's lots of things I love about it. One thing I would say that I like less about it is relative to some of the others, it doesn't have the longest back. I do find like when babies are more like a year, 15 months, they're often growing out of this in height. We've still got often got loads of adjustability in width, but I find the height doesn't always match. It's actually quite good for taller babies who like to have their arms out because it will still be really supportive. And you can use the hood a little bit to give you a bit of extra height, but it isn't great for babies who really want to push back and lean out a lot, who are older, because the panel just isn't quite as long as I would like in terms of how wide it goes. So on like pure width, this carrier I think would easily last to 2.5, 3, but probably on height you're going to be lucky to get over 2 years, but it really is going to depend on the baby. But it does work really well from newborn to 2 years, so that's giving you a huge age range, and it offers 3, probably 4, but 3 main carrying positions. So it offers inwards, it does a hip carry, and it does a back carry, and you've got super flexibility with how you tie in every single one of those carries. And then, as I mentioned at the start, you can also use it as a waistbandless carrier, as an on behimu. And the way you can do that is you can remove the waistband, but instead put the shoulder straps through that channel that the waistband sits in, and then use it as an on behimu for a back carrier. And you can see my written review from 8 years ago on the blog for how that works and how that looks. But that does mean that this is a really good investment, because wherever life takes you, if you do end up pregnant with another one and need a waistbandless carrier, it can do that. It can do front, hip, back. It's a lovely supportive option and a really great half buckle option. In terms of if you are looking at half buckles, others to explore that I absolutely love are the Lenny Lamb Hybrid and the Necco half buckle. Compared to those, I would say the Lenny Lamb Hybrid is really similar in terms of the spreading of the shoulders. I would say the wrap fabric is a little wider on the Didyklick. They're really similar in terms of that. The difference is the waistband. They feel quite different, and then that can be worth trying both, because different people like different things. The Lenny Lamb is softer and squishier and doesn't go quite as long, so will fit more petite people easily. This one is a little bit like more substantial, but also will again fit petite people, might fit some people better because it doesn't feel as deep, and it's more straight, and some people much prefer that. And then compared to the Necco has a much deeper, much firmer waistband. A lot of people, particularly petite people, will find that too much. Some people like that extra stability. And the Necco also has padding at the shoulders, and they flare a lot less. So again, something to consider. If you have any questions at all about the Didyklick for you, or anything at all, please let me know in the comments below. And if this has been helpful, please do like and subscribe.